Good afternoon and welcome to IC262, where we're going to teach you to grab them by the eyeballs. Now, there are numerous theoretical courses for all aspects of ophthalmology for PGTs. But guidance for extracurricular skills is very lacking and falls along the wayside. This instruction course will instruct rookies and those who are interested to improve their skills, to absorb some essential credentials to forge their own pathway in the journey of life. Now, the essential abilities of creating a poster, a killer presentation, an artistic but informative video, and being able to learn the art of public speaking to be able to present these to an audience are not easily acquired during busy postgraduate lives. I welcome all my erudite co-instructors to assist me in this quest. So Dr. Aditya Pradhan will be speaking on how to make a poster. I will cover how to make a presentation. Dr. Anurag Misra will teach us how to make a video. And Dr. Doel Biswas will teach us how to present a presentation with presence. Calling Dr. Aditya Pradhan to the dais.
Password.
Switch to the other laptop.
So good afternoon to everybody. Thank you, Dr. Tulika, for the kind introduction and the inclusion in this instruction course. As rightly pointed out by Madam, these essential skills are rarely taught in our postgraduate lives, and when the time comes for us to present or come on the stage or have a poster, it's very difficult. We don't have any source of reference. We have to depend on our colleagues or our seniors to give us a few tips and pointers and how to go about it. Just outside this hall, opposite this is the physical poster section. So let's start with that. So how do you master the art of making a physical poster to have the maximum impact? So just keep this photo in mind. I'll reference to it at the end. So I have no financial interest to disclose. So basically the thing starts with why are you having a physical poster? Who is your audience? So you have to define your poster's purpose. Is it a research data which you are presenting? Are you showing an interesting case you saw in your clinic? Or it is just general educational content with some social message for all the practicing ophthalmologists? And who will be your audience? Are you presenting in an ophthalmic conference? Are they majority of ophthalmologists? Is it a subspecialty conference where you are focusing on a very narrow area like cornea, retina, uvea, glaucoma? Or you may be called as a faculty or a guest in an optometry conference where the audience is slightly different. So we have to understand your audience to tailor the language which you are using in the poster, the jargon which we use, the short forms that we employ. So the short forms which you may know, the audience or the allied professionals may not have no clue. So be very careful and know your audience very well so that you can reach them and they can understand you better. So you have to adjust your language and the complexity to match the audience. And the focus message has to be present in the poster to enhance the comprehension and maintain the attention span of the audience. And emphasize technical details if the specialists are already knowing it, or give a general outline if the audience is not as specialized. So like any other paper or any other presentation, we have to follow a logical sequence. So you have to start with the title of the poster, the introduction to it, what were the methods used, what results did you derive from the study, the conclusions, and what are the reference, what is the existing literature on the topic you have already put the poster on. So you have to use concise text and bullet points to avoid overwhelming viewers, draw the attention of the viewers where it is needed the most. Any key findings or key messages have to be prioritized. You can draw a box around it, you can make the text bold, you can do it italics so that the text is emphasized. Always add brief captions for image or graphs. You may understand what the image is about or the graph is about. Your audience may not know what is X versus Y. So always have a small caption at the bottom. And avoid clutter, minimal text, and focus only on the essentials. Focus more on images, graphs, algorithms, flowcharts. So different conferences have different poster guidelines. Commonly it is around 36 to 48 inches. You have to confirm this by going to the conference's website before you commit to the actual printing of the poster. Vertical or horizontal orientation depends on what kind of space you are being provided at the conference venue. As I said, use a grid structure, so the text should be in columns so that the flow is maintained, not a haphazard paragraph kind of a flow. And have margins, don't print very close to the edge of the poster because it's very distracting and the audience has to read from one end to the other. It's very exhausting as well. And organize the text and images into columns, so you have a grid structure, and the text should not be small. The adequate size of the font should be used so that even at a distance when the judges are coming to judge your poster or somebody else is seeing it, you can see it from a distance and it facilitates transportation as well. So how do you design your poster? What are the software options available for making a poster? The most easiest of them all and easily accessible to everybody of us in the room is PowerPoint and Canva, which is an online option. So this is ideal for beginners and it simplifies the position, the placement of text and images. If you want to be a bit more professional about it, you can use Adobe Illustrator or InDesign. These are very professional tools and one needs to have prior familiarity and experience in using these softwares. But these are the ones which are actually used for printing magazines and other complicated materials. So these are the best options which are available. If you don't want to pay for these softwares, you can use open source software alternatives like Scribus, Inkscape, GIMP, or LibreOffice, which is the open source version of Microsoft Office. So whatever is your comfort level and your familiarity, you can choose amongst these softwares. So use ample white space to avoid overcrowding and give viewers eyes a rest. They need to see many posters, so your poster has to stand out. Organize it hierarchically, the content followed by the titles as mentioned before, and the spacing and the alignment should be consistent so that the flow is maintained. It is cleaner and clearer for everybody. More decorative fonts, calligraphic style of font should be avoided, and dense blocks of text like huge paragraphs should not be used. You should keep it brief and more of images and charts. And this clear and balanced design ensures that the comprehension of the key message is very quick and prompt. So sans serif fonts like Arial or Helvetica, so that gives more legibility from a distance. At least for the text, 24 points should be the font size, and for the headings more than 36. Don't mix and match very different types of 10 different types of fonts in the poster. Maximum 2 types of font for visual consistency, and there should be a high contrast like this. You see in my PowerPoint there is a good contrast between the background and the text. So use high contrast formatting so that the poster is legible. So the color palette should not be too multicolored. We should choose a limited color palette. It should not be a rainbow kind of a poster. Basic colors, very soft shades help the legibility of the poster. Overly bright or clashing color should never be used. And you can use subtle areas of shading to highlight the important key messages in your poster. So these are the 5 steps to maximize the impact with effective images and graphics. Whatever you are using in your poster, the images should be of very high resolution, because when they are printed on a large size of poster, you are blowing up the image. So the lesser number, the poorer resolution image it, the pixels start to show and the image becomes very blocky and illegible when it's printed. It may look fine on your laptop, but it looks very bad when it's printed on a large size poster. Choose only those graphics which make sense to the poster's message. Label the charts and diagrams as mentioned before. Limit the number of visuals, avoid overcrowding on the poster, and the graphics should integrate smoothly into the text and give more meaning to the poster. So certain do's and don'ts is, as again a repetition of the earlier points, the text should be concise, bullet points. From 3 to 4 feet distance it should be readable. Consistent fonts, consistent color schemes, don't overcrowd and don't use low resolution images. In coming to printing, you should use high quality printing for keeping the sharp images and the vibrant colors and the text also legible. Don't use a glossy finish because the spotlights over the poster, if it's a glossy finish, you can't see the poster very well. Use a matte finish. The paper which we use for printing should not be a flex material but of a higher GSM. That is more thick so that the quality, overall quality is enhanced. The material at the same time should be lightweight so you can transport it easily between your home and the venue. And don't print the poster directly, ask for a proof first. Verify that what you are putting on the poster matches what is being printed, and only once you are satisfied with the proof you have made the requisite corrections, only give the final order for printing it on the paper. Use tubes. There are poster tubes available online. Just roll the poster gently and put it in the tube for easy transport, whether you are traveling by road, air or train. So on the day of the conference when you are supposed to display, all the posters have not been put up as you can see outside. So confirm the dimensions before you arrive. Arrive before time so that you have enough time to put the poster well. Use either pins or Velcro or double-sided tape or clips or a combination of the above. Put your contact details. If you want to, you can put your email address or your phone number so that people can contact you for more details or doubts. Bring your own tape, scissors and push pins because sometimes a lot of people are competing for the same amount of materials. So you may not have enough time to put your poster, the judges may be waiting and it creates a very bad impression. And just practice in front of the mirror in your home so that you have enough time and to practice the delivery and say it out smoothly in front of the judges. So more thoroughly prepared, the more confident you are and more professional it looks. So eye-catching and professional titles, it should be funny and witty. Balance the colors. You can put a QR code. If you are running out of space, you just put a QR code in which the viewers can come and scan the QR code so that they can get more information which you have not been able to include on the actual physical poster, or some video which explains the technique which you are showing. So you just let them scan the QR code which is printed on your physical poster. So that is why you can maintain the best of both the worlds. So now currently the world is becoming more environment friendly. We are moving to e-posters rather than physical posters, but both have their advantages and disadvantages. So e-posters, you can include your videos and animations, which is not possible in a physical poster. The reach is more audiences can see it online rather than if they are attending virtually. There are no costs associated with printing, it is more environmental friendly. But physical posters enable face-to-face interactions in this world where we are becoming more isolated from each other. And it is something tangible which people can see, touch and feel. And obviously there are printing costs, but it is not so costly nowadays, it is still manageable and affordable. So just at the end, I would like to conclude that have a clear purpose and presentation of your poster, know your audience very well, use the software which is easily available and matches your skill set, and then apply the principles of typography and color to enhance the legibility of your poster. We acknowledge and recognize that e-posters have a wider appeal and easier to use, but physical posters remain the cornerstone of most of the conferences. And without compromising the clarity and the professionalism, we have to embrace the upcoming trend of electronic posters. This is a site we can get more tips on designing a better physical poster. Thank you for your kind attention.
Do we have any questions for Dr. Aditya regarding creating posters? That was very informative. Thank you. Nobody? Everyone understood everything perfectly, crystal clear. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you.
You said that the page layout can be done by you on PowerPoint before you actually give it for printing?
That is a very basic software. If you want a really professional look, then you have to resort to using the PageMaker or Illustrator.
That's exactly what my question was, because does it always correlate with the final,
No,
look
it,
on the-
it no.
doesn't,
With
right?
PowerPoint, it doesn't look very professional, or sometimes what you want to print, since there are two problems here. PowerPoint is basically not a page printing, a publishing software.
Yeah.
But we make do because we are not familiar with the DTP tools. But when you go to the printer, they don't accept PowerPoint, or they say this layout is compromised, we can't print this. It will come out as a, more of a handout rather than a physical poster. So the best is either you do it yourself, if you are not comfortable, the one who prints it, if you just send them the text, submit a Word document to them, they will be more than happy to oblige you and then draft it professionally, show you the draft and then print it.
And how do you, because normally what we get to see is even when we print smaller things like the hospital files, the photographs, the printers always ask us to send in the Corel format. But we don't know how to convert a normal, image which we take in the under the slit lamp into that format. So how does that work out?
No, what I do is, as I said, I give them the Word file which contains the text, and I give them the high resolution JPG images from
And a
the
separate file.
and a separate file. Then they put it over the conversion. Everything is done by them.
And when you check the proof,
Yes.
should it come out in the exact same size as the original
No,
poster?
no. That you can do it on a A4 paper or A3 paper.
So if when the A4 proof is something that you're looking at,
Yes.
and when it gets enlarged into a poster of your desired size, does the image get affected because it's proportionately increasing in size? So if it
No.
doesn't pixelate on an A4, is there a chance that it will pixelate when the original size comes?
It can pixelate if the resolution is not good enough, but that red flag is raised by the typesetter.
They would know.
They would know. So if they feel it's not good, and the other test you can do is, while you're sitting with them on the desktop or the laptop where they are working, you just ask them to zoom it as much as possible. So when you zoom it and you see the clarity is still being maintained, you can be rest assured that it will not pixelate on the poster. But if you see, even if maybe at 200% or 250% it starts breaking up, so that's a red flag. So it won't sustain the large format printing.
Thank
The text stays too. You are very safe with the fonts and the text never
Photographs
breaks.
is- yeah.
The problem is always with the images or the bar graphs.
True, right. Thank you.
That's great, thank you. Okay, over to me. Death by PPT, or should I say, how to make a killer presentation. So, hands up, those of you who can see the small text at the top. Can you read it? Some of you have some very good eyesight. Okay, but basically, keep it simple, stupid. Make the font large enough. So in the outline, you need to know your topic and audience. Use the specific society and conference logos. Nowadays, unfortunately, the attention span of everyone is dwindling. So we need to follow the 10, 20, 30 rule. Approximately 20 slides in 10 minutes using a 30-size font. Now, there are many rules for PowerPoints. I like the 1661. So one is have one main idea per slide. Now 6 is the magic number. Not more than 6 bullets per slide and not more than 6 words per bullet. This means that anything less than 6 on a slide you see, and anything more than 6 you actually count. And counting takes 5 times more cognitive power and effort. So this is a good example of the 166 rule, which I have borrowed from my friend Dr. Hoimunti. Very kindly she agreed. Now, if you're staring down at a blank slide, A good place to start is the 60-30-10 rule. So 60% is taken up by white, the main background color. Black, the secondary color, takes up 30%, and red takes up 10%. Now the primary and complementary colors on the color wheel, for example, red and green, they're opposite each other. So 4 examples of low contrast, some better ones on the right. Yellow on black is good, but black on yellow is better. All the signs in UK NHS hospitals, signs for the ophthalmology departments are always black on yellow because this color contrast is best seen by visually challenged patients. Too many bright colors, too distracting, avoid. Now the rule of thirds is a simplified version of the golden mean that photographers use to frame their shots. This rule helps us avoid the common mistake of placing content in the middle of a slide, which can make it look boring, static, and predictable. Add 4 intersecting lines or crossing points, which are incidentally called PowerPoints, and the 9 rectangles make a guiding grid. Identify the main message and place it on or near one of these 4 PowerPoints. Add supporting elements that complement the main message or use as negative space. Serif fonts have those decorative lines or tapers known as tails or feet, while sans serif fonts don't. They are made up of simple, clean, equal width lines throughout that are much easier on the eye. Common serif fonts, Times New Roman, which unfortunately is difficult to read in digital media because of the variable thickness. Also Courier New. Common serif fonts include Arial and Calibri. Arial is my personal favorite. So as Dr. Aditya said, don't use too many different types of fonts. 1 or 2 is enough. Font size and line spacing. I think it's pretty obvious which one is easier to read. Now this is again one of my initial PowerPoint slides. Avoid paragraphs like the plague. Bullets and numbers can match the heading color. Less text and powerful graphics make the difference. Now would you prefer to look at a boring table like this, or would you prefer an interesting, clear, clean graph? And don't forget to give credit where credit is due. References should be mentioned at the bottom of a slide or separately on 1 to 2 slides at the end under references. I lost you again, right? Too much text in one go. Use animations like I have been doing. Unless, of course, you're running really short on time, then don't listen to me and reduce animations. I, however, am a fan. Now, if I redid that previous slide, it could look like this. Better? Sentence case is best for bullet points, and title case is best for the heading, as demonstrated. Now, the million-dollar question, should you use AI to make PowerPoint presentations? It can save time and generate initial designs with the appropriate prompts, but that is a whole other presentation. If you're facing blank page syndrome, AI is quite useful to help you create a template for a PowerPoint, which you can then edit. And remember to save your PowerPoint, back it up to the cloud, USBs, and email it to yourself, just to be on the safe side. So plenty to learn and take in so far, but if you get the chance, have a little fun. Now this next slide I created for a talk called Cracking the FRCS Viva. So to see if you're awake, I am a declared night owl. Can I have a show of hands? Who else is a night owl like me? Okay, good, quite a few of us. And what about morning larks? Show of hands? much less, okay? And the rest of you must be in between, hummingbirds or perpetually exhausted sparrows. But this is what I'm like at 9 p.m. when my morning lark friends are ready for bed. So, points to ponder. We know that the first impression is the best impression. Interact with the audience. If there's someone you know in the audience, make eye contact with them. And if you don't know anybody in the audience, choose 3 or 4 friendly faces and make eye contact with them every so often. Remember to look up from the computer. Time management, which so many falter on. Practice, practice, practice your presentation within the time limit. Say your limit is 7 minutes. Target to finish by 6 or 6.5 minutes at the latest. Lastly, be yourself. Be authentic, passionate. Outstanding presenters are confident but relaxed and natural. Benjamin Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." So hopefully I've been able to involve all of you today. So please think of my presentation the next time you start creating yours. And if you need any help or advice, please do get in touch. Any questions for me? Thank you very much. Now, over to our in-house video expert, none other than Dr. Anurag Mishra. Over to you, Anurag.
Thank you so much, Dee. Good afternoon. Greetings and regards from the land of Jagannath. The rule that Tulika Dee was just speaking about, the 16619 my favorite rule when you make a PowerPoint presentation or any keynote, whatever you use in software, is the rule of 555. The rule of 555 says one is about the, what's blinking? The rule of 555 is, the first 5 is the total duration of talk. That doesn't apply in ophthalmic science or any clinical science for that matter, because the duration of every talk cannot be less than or equal to 5 minutes. It has to be more on certain occasions. The second 5 is no more than 5 bullet points per slide. There's a loose connection. No more than 5 bullet points per slide. The third 5 is the most important 5. No more than 5 text-rich slides before you intersperse your presentation with a visual clue. The visual clue can come from photographs, hurl of them, one single, or even better, particularly if you're talking about surgical specialties, videos. So how to make videos that look poignant and make the presentation more emphatic. Let's begin. We'll take them up under sections or headings. The first thing is you must soak in the settings. There are 2 ways in which you record your videos and store them. One of those ways is when you see a patient in the OPD, you plan your surgery, then you plan to record the surgery, and then you edit later on. This is, to me, a more lame sort of settings. The better strategy for this to be is you archive all your surgeries, record everything, and then delete the ones you don't want. They're too ordinary, too generalized, nothing really to learn from them. You can delete them at the end of the day. So build your own archive, name the videos, because if you keep the names that's given by the recorder of the machine, it will only have a number. You would not know what's there inside. And then search according to that. Even if you fail to search and you don't remember what you have in your archives, If you store it in a folder like this, then it's easier for you to find the video you're looking for. You know, in an interesting session or a session like an OPL or anything pertaining to that video. When you capture the video, the settings should be something in this order. There are different splitters available to be fitted into the microscopes. The 70-30 ones actually take away a little bit of light from the surgeon. So 80-20 is what I would harp on, I would recommend. The camera should be a clinical grade one. The Sony digital cameras are great, but however great the camera is and however good the coupling device is, it never shows the blood vessels the way they should look. It always reds them more, it always colors them more towards the red, so the red tint is more with them. The illumination should be optimal, whatever you are comfortable with. However, the red reflex in your microscope should be set at its maximum. If you have that system, that liberty, that fractionation in your microscope, please set the red reflex at its maximum. Learn to operate under lower magnification, because magnification is always inversely proportional to resolution. Higher the magnification, the resolution goes down. Lower the magnification, the resolution goes up. And the other thing is, whichever be the camera that you use, the view that the surgeon sees, the camera always tends to magnify it a little more. So always learn to operate under lower magnification. There are reflection noises coming from the drape, the light in the OR, if it's sitting right above the head of the patient, they should always be minimized. Then the impurities on the surface. There are, in winters in particular, you have a lot of reflective surfaces, particles floating on the surface. Remove them physically, apply some coat of HPMC so that the inner view is clear, that appears to you. With the cataractous lens still being there, this is the kind of red reflex you get once you maximize it. And when the cataract is removed, when you're trying to implant the IOL, also for the, for the rhexis margin to be seen clearly, the technique of implantation of an IOL, the technique of tucking it in, where the IOL stays, the red reflex helps a lot in identifying these things. So always keep that at maximum, whichever the microscope is allowing you. Next segment, cue the quintessential. When you want to show a particular step, like say the incision, what do you wish to show to the audience? You wish to show the positioning of the instruments, like the main incision, the blade should be more horizontal. The side port incision enters obliquely. That's what you are trying to show the audience. Doesn't help you if you start from draping or the eye moving or you preparing. So cut it to that segment in precision and start speaking once the video starts running, so that the audience correlates what you're speaking with what they are seeing. Capsular rhexis, there are two ways of showing it. If you're trying to show them how the rhexis is made, this is something I keep on saying, treat the anterior capsule as the canvas and treat your capsulotomy needle as the paintbrush. Draw a circle on it. Forget about the centrifugal force. Just draw a circle right at the center of it. Each one of us is an artist. Each one of us can draw a perfect circle on the capsule. But if you try to, modify this video, run it faster, the audience might not take the point that you're trying to make. Now this is about making the rhexis from the eye view. What about the ergonomics of the hands, the hand position? If you're trying to teach that to the audience, this view will not help. What comes to your help is if you record a video from the outside. So herein the surgeon is trying to show, I am trying to show, how do you steady the hands. So look at the little finger. What I do is I always rest my little finger on the lateral orbital angle. So that's exactly what the surgeon is showing here. He is stabilizing his little finger of the right hand on the angle. He is stabilizing the needle with the left hand's index finger, and the capsulotomy needle is oriented absolutely vertical. If you're trying to teach these things to the audience, the microscope view will not help. You will have to shoot an external video just to add boost to your presentation. Similarly, if you're trying to show them chopping, you ask them to focus on the power tile that's there. When you're chopping, there is no power being used. That's what your emphasis is on. You are embedding the phaco, impaling the nucleus using power. But when you're chopping, the power comes back to zero and you're chopping only with vacuum because you don't need power there. Power, proves out to be counterproductive. So that's what you're trying to show. That is what you should be focusing on. Irrigating, IOL implantation under irrigation. This is multi-piece IOL, so it's a rigid haptic. That goes into the bag first. We know that it takes a twist and comes to the opposite side. Wait there with the irrigation cannula on the left hand side. Go through the side port. Catch hold of the optic haptic junction there. Take it to the rhexis margin. Create a tent in the rhexis margin so that when you dial it in, it maintains a natural obliquity vertically so that the haptic goes inside the bag. That's what you want to show. Do not start these videos from the nucleus management because your objective is to show them how an IOL implantation should be done under irrigation. So cut the crap. We have already discussed it in a bit in the previous section. But when you are trying to highlight a particular section of the video, you highlight the highlight. But if the highlight comes in between the prologue and then there's an epilogue that follows it, the whole combination makes it a monologue and people really start yawning and you watch them yawning, which is actually very disrespectful, but they can't help it because you're the creator. The other thing is, this particular video, the surgeon is trying to show how to align the toric IOL along its desired alignment axis. If you're trying to show how to align the toric IOL along the desired axis, there's no need for you to start from implanting it. After it gets implanted in the bag and completely opens, then you can show that the video overlay, the axis overlay comes in and you have to rotate it counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever your preferred methodology, and you have to ensure that it comes right along the desired plane, desired axis of implantation. So that's what and if it's not, then you have to tweak it further. So unnecessarily it gets prolonged. Bow before the bend, respect time. Time frame should be, if you're showing a surgical step, in my opinion, it should not be more than 60 seconds or 1 minute. If you're trying to show a total video, then it should not be more than 3 minutes. You lose the attention and focus of the audience, and it should be edited. There's no sense in showing an unedited video with all the steps for 6 minutes, and even worse, you try to fast forward it, and in that attempt of fast forwarding the video, you jump essential steps, and then you come back to show them again. Oh, I skipped it. Sorry, I'll just go back. Let me just go back. You keep on flickering your cursor. And the excuses that people serve is, I didn't have time to edit it. If you don't have time, then better skip your presentation. Don't make videos or don't do anything with them. Doodle the DOs. Once you have prepared publishing the video, once you have finished publishing the video, what comes in next is the audio, because no video is complete with without its audio support. So I'll just exhibit before you how some people use the audio in some of the, and believe me, it happens even in the All India Society and in very prestigious conferences. So this is one of my videos. I've intentionally done it this way. The moment the video starts, look at the audio. I mean, I'm playing it through the Mac speakers. Even then, what you hear is majorly the track that's running, and you can hardly hear my voice. And believe me, if you cannot hear my voice, then you have serious problems in your ears. So if my voice is feeble, then everybody's else's voice is inaudible. So the audio that should be accompanied with a video is something that you choose. It should be light, instrumental, and it should have very, very low decibelic value so that it doesn't muffle or override the narration. In my opinion, self-narration at the time of video presentation is always better. There are a lot of gadgets which really cancel out the passive noise, background noise cancellation is good, and you can record your videos, record your voice with the video at home, but it's always better that you narrate it because then you can also see what the audience is reacting to and maybe create a few questions in their minds as well. But the voice that comes through with the video, if it is pre-recorded, better be from a master and not from your own self, should you not have the kind of voice that captivates the audience. If you have, and do not take the help of AI again for that voice because it looks really, really artificial to me. Very, very artificial voice that the AI apps have. So ask or request somebody whose voice you respect who you know speaks well, so request him to give or lend his or her voice for you to make the video and finally publish it to wherever it is meant to be. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you so much for the opportunity again, Dee.
Any questions for the master? Please, come to the mic.
Very good presentation as usual. I just have one question to ask. Many a time there is a glitch in presenting the video in the actual podium. You have made a wonderful video, but you cannot play it. So what is your tips to overcome that problem?
Basically, there are two softwares that we use for presentations. One is PowerPoint, which works with the Microsoft. The other is Keynote, which works with the Mac. All right? Now, the Keynote software is one wherein if you incorporate a video, if you add a video to the presentation, it stays embedded there. You can just take the Keynote presentation and present it anywhere, from any Mac, anywhere. Even you can convert it to PowerPoint, play it anywhere, and the video will run fine. The PowerPoint doesn't do that. The PowerPoint app, if you're using that software and you have incorporated a video from somewhere, the mother file has to be located. The route has to be specified to the system. So if you're just taking the PowerPoint file and not taking the mother files of the videos, they will not play. So if you have a presentation, what I'll suggest is, say you have a presentation in one of the ICs in AIOC 26 and it's on Toric IOLs. Create a folder, Toric IOLs, AIOC 26, put in all the mother files of the videos there first, then make your PowerPoints. In the PowerPoints, add the videos from that file and take that whole file with you. Then it will run fine. Then there will be no glitch. So if it doesn't identify the route from where it has come, it will not work. PowerPoint has that problem. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for the guidance, sir. Sir, I wanted to know your recommendations for Windows. What softwares do you use for the actual editing?
I don't use the Windows at all. I use a Mac, and both the softwares in the Mac, the iMovies, which comes inbuilt, and the Final Cut Pro, both of them are brilliant.
Sir, iMovies I know is free, and while Final Cut Pro is paid. So the problem in Windows is that either you have to choose a very high-end laptop if you want a paid software.
Right.
If you want to use a free software, then also in normal i3 or i5 Windows laptops, it does not run correctly. And in Android, there are many options, but in Android, we have to download the cracked versions, which compromises the safety of our banking apps because they can steal the OTP.
Not
So
only
any
that,
free software.
I believe a lot of these apps also leave a watershed if you're not taking the paid version, like Filmora. You know, it always leaves a watershed, so you see that on the video final publication as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer your question exactly, but I think if you are regularly publishing videos, then you should get some paid software to edit the videos with, or else get the help of someone who has a Mac, edit it on iMovies and then export it to your laptop to use it with the Windows.
Sure, sir. I mean, in conclusion, any recommendation for free software in Android and Windows?
I actually don't have any idea because I honestly don't use them, so yeah, I can't help you there. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks, Anurag. Okay, over to Dr. Doel Biswas, who is going to, can you switch the laptop, please? Excuse me. Audiovisual, can you switch the laptop, please? Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Doel Biswas is going to tell us how to walk the talk, but is unfortunately having a little problem walking herself today after a fall, so she'll be speaking from her seat. Over to you, Doel.
Thank you so much, and I'm really sorry. I can talk, but I cannot walk.
For that matter, I don't even know why I'm talking on this. Because honestly, if you have listened to Dr. Anurag Mishra, that is exactly how you should make a presentation. So whatever I'm going to say is going to be superfluous if you really paid attention to him. But I've been given a task, so I'll try to do justice to it. Next. So this is something which has been said in the past, the presentation, especially by Dr. Aditya. Even before you come to the podium, when your presentation is being made, it's very important to remember who you are making that presentation for. Now, if it is, the people who are junior to you, students who are just starting their journey in ophthalmology, your paper has to be such, or your presentation has to be such that it is the basics. For example, I'm a refractive surgeon. If I was to make a presentation in a hall full of students, I would probably talk about the counseling part, or the work up to a refractive case, or the very basics of a refractive case. I would not discuss the complications of a silk surgery. So you have to understand what your audience needs. Now, if you are talking in the presence of your peers, your contemporary, people who are doing the same sort of work as you are doing, in that case, it's more suitable to talk about the work you do, what you are doing, what complications you are facing, what innovative steps you are using, because then there is a discussion. There are people at your level doing your sort of work, and there is an interactive thing. Again, if you are presenting in front of the, next slide. If you're presenting in front of the experts, then you need to remember that they probably, not just probably, they most definitely know more than you. So your level in that case has to be much higher. You cannot tell them about the basics. You cannot tell them about what you are doing, because they're probably doing much more. So even if you're talking about what you are doing, you have to include something that is at a higher level, something that is happening, some innovation. And of course, it's very helpful if you make this session with a lot of questions and, taking the opinion of the experts. Next is what. Now again, this is again something that Dr. Aditya has already mentioned. What you are presenting depends on a lot of, the type of presentation. Is it a research work? Then of course there are more bullet points, there's more theory. Is it something all theoretical? Or is it surgery? And if it is surgery, my personal preference is just show the surgery and talk while you're on the podium. Now coming to what, I have something very personal. This is my personal opinion again. It's always better to talk on a subject that you are the master of, that you know about, because believe me, no matter how much you read up from the net or how much you have taken the help of the AI to make your preparation, your presentation, that bit of authenticity, that belief, that confidence that's usually present in your voice, or rather should be present in your voice, is not there. So personally, I do not like to talk on a subject that I am not the master of. Next. Now when you are at the podium, like when you're in Tulika's place standing out there, you have the audience in front of you, and again you have to divide. This audience is divided into three. Number one, the backbenchers. They are the ones who have walked into the hall because of the AC. It's very hot outside, the backside is aching, they need somewhere to rest, so they are here, they are sleeping, they are scrolling through their mobile, they are doing their online shopping. If you can make them awake, all credit to you. So that should be one of your attempts. Next. Now the front row. Usually the front row is occupied by the experts, which is why I'm wondering why our front row is all empty. Anyway, so all the experts sit in the front row, they are going to judge you, they will make up their minds about you, their opinions about you, and if you further want to be invited to other conferences or come as faculty somewhere, these are the people you really need to impress. Next. However, this is the row which is there to listen to you, to learn from you. They are interested, so they're not right at the back. They are not experts, they are shy, they're a little low on confidence, so they're not right in front. They are sitting in the middle and they are listening to you. And at the end of your presentation, they may not be the one to ask you questions, but believe me, when you come off the dais or during lunch, probably one or all of them will come to you and they will ask you questions or compliment you on your presentation. So this middle row is really your audience. Coming to the oratory skills, I have heard very often that, oratory skill is not important. How you say, how you speak is not important. I beg to differ. For me, oratory skill is very important. I have sometimes listened to some brilliant content, but the speaker stands there, speaks in the same monologue, and after about 2 minutes, I'm zoned out. So oration is very important. How do you get your oratory skills? Some of them, like Dr. Anurag Mishra, is born with it. He's been blessed with the right genes, which gave him the right voice, but everyone does not have it. So you can learn, you practice. The more podium time that you get, the better you improve. 2 things to remember always when you're in the podium. Remember where the mic is. This is one mistake short people like me often make. We pull the mic closer to us because we are short, and what happens is that the mic then picks up our breath sounds, and that does not sound nice. Also, your speech. Now you see, when you're standing there, your brain has to be focused. If you're thinking of 10 different things, your speech will also not be clear. So if your presentation is like mine, where I'm telling you how to make a presentation, I cannot be thinking of how to do a phakic surgery or something like that. My concentration has to be on the presentation. So my brain has to be focused. Fillers, what are fillers? They are not these aesthetic fillers that I'm talking about. Fillers in case of presentation is the ahs, the oohs, the ums that you bring in mainly to kill time. This shows one thing and only one thing. You have not practiced your presentation. So it's very important to practice your presentation the night before. Practice it as many times as you can. You cannot fill your gap between your sentences with these ums and oohs. Body language is so very important. Hands in your pocket, totally disrespectful to the audience. Hands folded across your chest. It gives a very aggressive vibe. That is not the way to stand. Some tall people, they tend to lean on the podium, lean ahead. No, that is too casual. Some of us, again, we are short, so we cannot use our hands effectively, but our posture at least has to be straight, it has to be formal, and it has to be serious. I always feel, that a presentation, you want people to listen to you. You have just, if your presentation is 4 minutes, you have half a minute, and if your presentation is 7 minutes maybe, you have 1 minute. That is the only time you get to get the attention. If you've lost your audience, then they will never listen to you for the rest of it. So start your presentation with a bang. Catchy title always gets your attention. But while making it catchy, please do remember it should not be something that makes you want to throw up what you had at your rice eating ceremony. So please be careful about your title also. Next. I always feel the beginning of the presentation is one of the most important things because the hall is silent, they are expectant, they are waiting for you to start. If you have a larger than life reputation, then they will listen to you anyway and they have a lot of expectations. But if you don't, if you're lesser known, then there is pin drop silence and you have to use that silence to really make your impact. Engage with the audience. The other day I was explaining to a friend of mine the difference between speaking a presentation and talking a presentation. When you speak, you simply read out the presentation. You don't know what your audience wants. You don't know whether your audience is awake. You have made a presentation, you come to the podium and you say it there.
Talking is when you look at your audience, you engage with your audience, you give them what they want. Humor, yes, it adds to the presentation, but be careful, don't go overboard, keep it subtle, and try and keep it a little sober. Short and sweet, everyone has stressed on it, and yes, your presentation needs to be short, sweet, and crisp. Embrace authenticity. This, I think, is the most important point that I would like to say. Again, I believe in this. Talk only on something that you believe in. Don't talk over the top of your head. You, somehow or the other, one presentation you may get away with it, a second one, but there will always come a time when you'll be caught out. So talk on a topic that you know about, talk on a topic that you believe in. Golden rules, always have your presentation backed by science. Just don't say something because you know it's right. You have to have proof. Few bullet points, maximum visuals, don't give all writing. As they say, your attention span is very short. Well-trimmed surgical videos has been already stressed by Dr. Anurag. No fast-forwarding videos. That is gross, to say the least. And finally, do you need to give a summary? No, not necessarily. But if you have to make it brief, don't give your entire presentation in that summary. You've already said it. Yes, you can just end it with a quote, or you can end it with a sentence that is almost like the bang. Open with a bang, end with a bang. Next. And thank you so much for a patient hearing.
That was really lovely. Thank you. Questions for Dr. Doyle? So this is an important part of a presentation, how to present it with presence, not just reading out from the slides. Thank you. We're trying to photo over there. We are coming there. We are coming there. Don't worry.